Coach Bennett, if you'd like to begin with an opening statement, then we'll take some questions.
Sure. Looking forward to playing tomorrow, certainly. Anytime your team can advance to the Sweet 16 and have an opportunity to go further, it's exciting. Obviously, we know what's in front of us with the quality of Michigan State, but just want to be as ready as we can and put our best foot forward.
If you have a question for Coach Bennett, please raise your hand. We'll send the microphone attendant to you. And please identify yourself at that time by your name and your media outlet. First question for Coach Bennett. All right, we got one right up in the front on the left. You're okay.
I can hear you if you.
Jillian Van Strat, MLive.com. Wondering, when you went about film study for Michigan State, they spent a lot of time with their incomplete roster, a lot of injuries and things. Then over the last 2.5 weeks, have had the full team. Did you have to kind of pick and choose which Michigan State you watched?
Yeah, no, I know which Michigan State team we're going to play, and that's the important thing. How they played in the Big Ten Conference Tournament, how they, I don't want to say breezed through it, but how they really at times were dominant, and certainly in the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's who they are. That's why they, the expectations at the start of the year where they were projected has kind of come to fruition in the level of basketball they're playing. So obviously that's who we're preparing for. And, you know, you watch some of those other games to see if there's some consistencies, but this is their full roster, and certainly they're playing at a high level.
Our next question is on the right side toward the middle.
Jerry Ratcliffe, Daily Progress. Hey, Tony. You guys have been really good against stopping other people's transition this year. What concerns you most about Michigan State? They seem to be very successful at that.
Yeah, they've always been, as long as I've watched Coach's team. Boy, this year they can really spread the floor with their ability to shoot, their speed getting up the floor. They have some bigs that can trail and shoot it as well. You know, someone asked me before, are there any teams you've played against that have prepared you that play similar to Michigan State? And, you know, certainly Carolina runs, even Memphis, their speed and transition. But what I think is unique or very good about Michigan State is that they're very complete when they run. It's not just they have one guy who can just, you know, buzz up the floor off the dribble and they go to the rack. They'll do that. They can get there with their players, but they also will kick it up. They spread it with shooters. They got rim runners, and it's what they do and they drill it. And that's something he's always done, and I think this is one of his best teams in transition that I've seen. And, you know, we're not going to change who we are. We're just going to have to probably do it a little better to try to stop that. I think every team who plays them or teams like that, you know, that's got to be a focus if you want to certainly have a chance against a Michigan State team.
We're looking for the next question for Coach Bennett. If there is one, just raise your hand. All the way to the right, Mark.
Mark Herman from Newsday. Coach, when Coach Izzo was here, he's talking about how familiar he is with you and your family, certainly.
Yeah.
What's it like vice versa? And just knowing what you do about the profession, how is someone like that able to get to this level and beyond so many times in a row?
Yeah. He's, you know, a special coach, have the utmost respect for him. And, yeah, just going back from, you know, the experiences I've had watching him, certainly my father, he does it the right way. He builds his program the right way. They're tough, they're sound, they embody him. Remember, my father told me, you know, he coached at Stevens Point. Coach Izzo was playing at Northern Michigan at the time, and he said how he played was similar to how he coaches. And that's actually my father. My dad wasn't a great player, and I don't know if Coach Izzo was a great player or not, but my dad said, I wasn't a great player, but I was going to play as hard as I could and defend and all that. And you can see that about Coach Izzo, how his teams are since he was an assistant when I played against him at Green Bay, but then when I was on staff at Wisconsin, his teams, they were as sound and tough as you'd find. And, you know, he's great for the game. He really is. And, you know, he's advanced because his teams, they're efficient offensively, and they don't take possessions off, and they're tough-minded. And that's a model that a lot of good teams have that you're always trying to aspire to. So certainly, you know, he's been great for us younger coaches. I'm not that much younger now, but to see that, and that's how you want to build your program.
We have another question toward the front. Greg?
Greg Logan of Newsday. In a sense, because of the style that you play, do you feel that your team is especially well equipped to match what they're going to do?
Yeah, it's going to be a war of attrition. I mean, there's definitely some similarities. You know, obviously they probably run more. I mean, we'll try to opportunistically, but it'll be a battle in who can execute best. And, you know, certainly there's going to be, hopefully it'll be a physical game, it'll be a sound game, and you're going to have to play that way to beat a Michigan State team the way they're playing. And I think our guys understand that. And just watching them, this Michigan State team, as the first question suggested, where they're at right now, we understand that. But are we equipped to play against them well? I think when we're playing at our best, our style gives us a chance to beat the best. We always talked about that. That's how you prepare your team. So when you play against high-level opponents, does your system, does your style give you that chance? And that's what we've tried to build, and we'll get our chance tomorrow.
Any further questions for Coach Bennett? Greg, a follow-up?
The one follow-up is your team kind of rose slowly in terms of recognition throughout the year to be the last team to grab a number one seed, whereas they were number one early on in the year. How do you use that mentally with your team? Do you feel like you guys still are kind of not under the radar at this point, but have an underdog mentality, I guess, against a team like Michigan State?
Yeah, underdog mentality. We have to have a hungry mentality, and they will. We do, and we know again how we have to play. I think our guys they've been steady all year since we've gotten into conference play, and I think that they know what's in front of them. And again, it's not changing anything; it's just doing it probably a little bit better. But they're hungry to play, and who wouldn't be in the Sweet 16? I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be here twice now as a head coach, but to be a part of staffs a few times. And again, the NCAA tournament is the greatest sporting event going, in my opinion, being biased, of course. But every round you advance to, you feel the excitement, you feel the intensity, and you get step into this, and that's whether you're talking about seeding, underdog. You just got to be hungry and ready, and that's what we're going to find out.
Another question for Coach Bennett on the right side.
What's it been like for your team to be here? I don't know. I know some of them said they had never. I don't guess any of them have ever played in the Garden. Even Toby, who grew up here, but
yeah.
A lot of guys have never been to New York. Just what's been their reaction being here?
Well, we got in late last night because the high winds, we couldn't fly in. So got in and had a great meal. Had our breakfast, did some film, and it's just kind of business as usual. I'm actually fascinated to see the floor out there because we played the Knicks in the Eastern Conference semifinals in '93. Played there, so I can't wait to see this. But they know it's special, but I think that they're just looking forward to it. So, we haven't gone to a play or anything like that or done anything too amazing, but I think it'll be enjoyable to be out there and then know there'll be great excitement tomorrow.
We're looking for the next question for Coach Bennett. There's another one on the right, Mark.
I always like to ask coaches this. I know you're busy with your team and preparing for every game, but during the tournament, do you get a chance to watch other games? Mm-hmm. And if you do, what are your overall impressions of the tournament this year? Yeah,
in bits and pieces, certainly you do. I don't know if you can sit down and watch the whole thing. You got your laptop, you're probably watching film, but certainly you do. I think every year, the excitement's great, and just the parity in college basketball, that's what makes this so good, that there's different styles, there's different systems, and different teams can advance. But again, the seeding, you're seeing more and more, you don't even call them upsets, but that's what makes this exciting because you have to be so ready. Everybody's capable, and I think that's been trending that way, but maybe even more this year. I don't know the stats if there's more upsets this year than in years past, but that's why I think people love it, and there's, like I said, there's such joy in this. It really is. I was fortunate my first year with my father. I was just a volunteer with them, and the year they went to the Final Four to be a part of that run and having played in it just captivated me. And I'm not going to mention who beat them in the Final Four. I think we all know that. But I just think there's such a time of excitement, and it makes it very special. I really appreciate this, but certainly am very hungry to carry this thing forward.
Any further questions for Coach? Yeah, we have one all the way in the back in the center. Dan, right there.
Oh.
Coach, Dan Martin with the New York Post. I know you're busy with preparing for Michigan State, but I was wondering if you were aware of the Northwestern ruling yesterday about the football team being able to unionize.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. My SID said they might ask you this question, and I'm like, well, I don't really have a good response. So, I mean, look, the NCAA as a player, it's been great to me. I know there's a lot of things going. I can remember doing a speech in front of my class as a freshman when I was in college, explaining why I think college athletes should get a stipend to the class. I remember the class looking at me at the time like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? And I tried to explain, but it's a wonderful game. The players do a lot for the game. Hopefully, there's going to be some good things coming. But as far as the specifics on that, I really, truly would be the wrong guy to ask. I'd need to study it a little better and give you a more sound answer to there.
All the way in the back to the right.
Coach Travis Wells, WDBJ in Roanoke. I apologize if you've addressed this already, but that 2008 trip to the Sweet 16 at Washington State down in Charlotte, just curious what you gleaned from that experience. Can you use anything this weekend from 2008 to help you guys?
Yeah, I remember how that Carolina team, how good they were in transition with Lawson and Hansborough. That was a real good team. Every team's different, certainly you have, but all of your past experiences shape what you're trying to do, little adjustments and how you prepare. Yeah, certainly I'll take some of the lessons we learned and use those in how we prepare for this. Some things to maybe even talk to our players about. But again, different team, we're obviously in a different program and all those things, but there is some wisdom from it.